What's the worst that can happen? This phrase, so deceptively simple, carries a weight that's often overlooked. It's a question we instinctively avoid, pushing away those uncomfortable thoughts that linger in the corners of our minds. But here's the truth. When we face our fears head-on, when we dissect them, deconstruct them, and ask, what's the worst that can happen? We find that they're rarely as formidable as they seem. Welcome back to another video. Today we're diving deep into the depths of our anxieties, pulling out those hidden fears that hold us back from living vibrantly. But before we dive into the depths, let's lighten the mood. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Alright, enough of the silliness. Let's get serious. Imagine standing at the edge of a new experience, a promotion, a relationship, a creative project. In your mind, a chorus of doubts rises. What if I mess up? What if it doesn't work out? These questions echo, growing louder until your whole being vibrates with anxiety. Fear is a universal language, a melody that resonates with each of us. It tells stories of potential losses, failures, rejections, and paints vivid pictures of worst-case scenarios. It whispers in our ear, subtly suggesting that maybe we're not good enough, smart enough, beautiful enough. It preys on our insecurities, magnifying them into mountains of doubt. But here's where the shift happens. Where most people retreat, overwhelmed by the symphony of fear, we dare to press play. We dive into the music of fear, we embrace it, dance with it, let it wash over us. For within the cacophony, there's a truth that shines through. Fear is almost never as bad as it seems. Let me share a story. Once upon a time, there was a man named Chris who worked at a psychiatric hospital. He was a caregiver, a friend, a son, and a father of two. He took his work seriously and genuinely liked his job. But lately, a dark cloud hung over his workplace. Budget cuts, layoffs, the hushed whispers of colleagues filled the air, each word echoing the same refrain. What if? Chris couldn't shake off these whispers. They wormed their way into his thoughts day and night. What if I lose my job? What if I can't provide for my family? What if I'm not enough? He felt like a leaf tossed in a storm, helpless and at the mercy of fate. He came to me seeking solace. And as I sat with him, listening to the litany of fears, I asked a simple yet profound question. What's the worst that can happen? He hesitated. Then in a shaky voice he replied, I'll lose my job. I nodded, understanding the gravity of those 3 words. It meant financial strain, altered routines, maybe even strained relationships. It wasn't just a job. It was stability, identity, purpose. And then what will happen? I gently prodded. He furrowed his brow in thought. Well, I'd have to look for another job. I smiled, relieved to hear the note of calm in his voice. And that's not such a terrible thing, I said. He looked up, surprised. It's not? I affirmed. You've found jobs before. You're good at what you do. People like you. You have skills and experience. New opportunities will present themselves. He considered this, the fear starting to recede a little. Yeah, I suppose you're right, he admitted. Over the next few weeks, Chris continued to come to our sessions. With each visit, he got better at asking himself, what's the worst that can happen? He realized that losing his job would be tough, but not the end of the world. He began exploring new possibilities, updating his resume and reaching out to contacts. He started seeing the bigger picture. He recognized that while losing his job was challenging, it wasn't the catastrophe he'd envisioned. It was merely a detour in his career path, not the end of the road. His proactive approach paid off. He landed a new job that not only matched, but exceeded his previous position. He gained more responsibilities, a higher salary, and a renewed sense of purpose. Looking back, he understood that facing his fear of losing his job had been the best thing he could have done. It forced him to confront his worries, reframe his perspective, and take positive action. Fear is a natural human emotion. It serves as an alarm system, alerting us to potential dangers. But sometimes our fears spiral into territory that overwhelms us. We find ourselves frozen, paralyzed by the labyrinth of what-ifs in our minds. It's easy to get lost in this labyrinth, but the key to navigating it lies in the question, what's the worst that can happen? By dissecting our fears, identifying them, giving them a name, we demystify them. Fear loses its power when it's no longer an abstract monster under the bed. So the next time fear whispers its tales of potential disasters, ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? It might not be as daunting as your imagination makes it seem. And even if it is, you'll be better equipped to handle it than you think. Most of us have a deep-seated belief that we should be in control, that we can predict and manipulate outcomes. But the truth is, life has a way of surprising us, of dealing us cards we never saw coming. The relentless march of time, the unpredictable nature of relationships, the twists and turns of careers, all these elements combine to create a symphony of uncertainty. It's this uncertainty that can send shivers down our spines, making us crave the illusion of control. The desire for control is understandable. It's ingrained in us from a young age. We want to know the outcome, to have a roadmap to success. But this yearning for certainty often leads to unnecessary suffering. We fret over things that might never happen, letting our imaginations run wild with worst-case scenarios. When we learn to navigate this labyrinth of uncertainty, when we tune into the rhythm of life's unpredictability, we enter a realm where we're not in control, but we're still very much present. It's a paradoxical dance where acceptance and surrender take center stage, not control. It's in this space that we discover a different kind of freedom, the freedom to be fully alive. Have you ever dreamed of something so intensely that when it came true, you questioned if it was real? Our minds are incredibly powerful, capable of painting vivid pictures of reality. And these mental images, when held with conviction, can deceive even our own hearts and souls. We can convince ourselves that something is real simply because we've imagined it so often. Think about it. When you visualize a nightmare scenario, your body reacts. Your heart pounds, your hands sweat, your breathing quickens. Why? Because your mind has convinced your body that the imagined situation is happening. Now, this might seem like a quirk of the mind, a strange phenomenon that has no bearing on our everyday lives. But it's actually a potent tool waiting for us to wield it. We can use this inherent power to shape our experiences, to mold our realities. We don't have to be at the mercy of our circumstances. Instead, we can proactively craft our futures by intentionally visualizing our paths. This is a concept that many successful individuals, from athletes to entrepreneurs, swear by. They understand that visualization is not escapism. It's a form of preparation. By visualizing challenges beforehand, they familiarize themselves with the mental landscape, reducing the element of surprise when faced with the actual situation. For instance, imagine an athlete stepping onto the playing field. If they visualized their performance in advance, they won't be caught off guard by the pressure. They've mentally rehearsed, they've anticipated, and they've prepared. Now you might be thinking, how can I apply this in my life? Perhaps you're about to embark on a public presentation. Visualize it, not just the triumph, but also the potential hiccups. Imagine the unexpected question, the technical glitch, the moment when you feel self-doubt creeping in. Visualize how you'll respond to these situations. By doing so, you're not inviting negativity, you're arming yourself with mental preparedness. You're turning potential disasters into stepping stones. This idea of intentional visualization might seem like a detour from reality, but it's a detour that leads to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our abilities. It's an invitation to step into a world where we're not merely reacting to external events, but actively shaping our inner landscapes to meet them. Life is an intricate tapestry woven with threads of joy, sorrow, triumph, and despair. While we naturally gravitate towards the vibrant hues of happiness and success, it's the darker shades that often hold the most profound lessons. Fear, in its many guises, is one such visitor. It comes uninvited, unwelcome, and yet it stands at the doorstep of almost every significant experience we encounter. When fear knocks, it's easy to recoil, to try to shut out its message. Yet what if instead of resisting? What if we opened the door and invited fear in? What if we asked it to sit, to stay, and to speak its truth? This might sound counterintuitive, even reckless. After all, fear speaks a language of loss, of failure, of pain. Why would we want to give it a seat at our metaphorical table? Because in that dark, uncomfortable space, we discover something essential, our strength. As we sit with fear, we begin to understand its motivations, its triggers, its patterns. We see that fear often arises from a place of insecurity, of vulnerability, of the unknown. And in acknowledging these feelings, we strip them of their power. Think of a tightrope walker poised on a high wire suspended above the ground. The greater the height, the more precarious the balance. Life is much the same. The higher we climb, the more exposed we become. And with that exposure comes fear. Fear of falling, fear of failure, fear of letting go. But here's the paradox. The tighter the tightrope walker holds the wire, the more likely they are to lose their balance. The same holds true for us. When we cling tightly to our fears, to our worries, we amplify them. We let them define our actions, our decisions, our lives. But when we loosen our grip, when we acknowledge fear without judgment and allow it to be present, we create space for something else to emerge. In that space we find confidence, clarity, and courage. We realize that while fear might be a constant companion, it doesn't have to be our guide. We have the power to set the pace, to choose the direction. If you've resonated with these ideas, please hit the like button. It's a simple gesture that helps spread more wisdom like this. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your curiosity keeps us motivated to create more insightful videos. Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. And until next time, remember, you are not your fear. You are the one who asks, what's the worst that can happen? And in that question lies the power to transform fear into fuel for your journey. Have you ever found yourself deeply affected by something someone else said or did, only to realize it wasn't actually directed at you? This is a common experience, but it highlights a fundamental truth about ourselves and our perception of the world. Our suffering is often not caused by external events, but by our response to them, by the stories we tell ourselves about what happened and why. We have the power to choose our actions, but also the power to choose how we perceive those actions and the stories we construct around them. In other words, we get to choose our response. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello. I'm an award-winning journalist and author of several books about ancient philosophy. Here, we explore ancient wisdom for modern life. Today we're diving into the heart of Stoicism, examining the idea that our suffering is often self-inflicted. Ready? Let's dive in. When we're struck by misfortune or hardship, it's natural to feel a range of emotions from frustration and anger to sadness and despair. But what if there's a better way, a more resilient way to navigate these challenges? Enter Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that offers a powerful lens through which to view life's ups and downs. So what's the deal with this whole "it's not what happens, it's how you react" thing? Well, it's not just a feel-good platitude. It's a profound truth that can transform the way we live. Imagine a scenario. You're working on a long-term project, and you're making good progress. Then suddenly, due to circumstances beyond your control, everything changes. Your project gets cancelled. You're left feeling disappointed and demotivated. Now, in this situation there's a choice. You can either succumb to the disappointment and let it overwhelm you, or you can choose to reframe the situation and see it as an opportunity for growth. You could see this as a chance to reassess your goals, acquire new skills, or even start a new project. The key is how you choose to react. Stoicism encourages us to recognize that our interpretation of events, not the events themselves, is what truly matters. It's not the cancellation that causes suffering. It's the story we tell ourselves about the cancellation. Was it a waste of time? Was it a learning experience? Was it a necessary redirection? The answer is in your hands. Let's look at another common source of stress: dealing with difficult people. Whether it's a contentious family member, a problematic colleague, or a disruptive friend, difficult individuals can certainly cause frustration. However, according to Stoicism, it's not the other person who is the problem. It's our reaction to their behavior that creates the real issue. Instead of focusing on changing others, Stoicism calls us to focus on our own thoughts and actions. By practicing forgiveness, empathy, and understanding, we can transform a potentially negative interaction into an opportunity for growth and wisdom. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius? "He who is not contented with what he has won't be contented with what he is." By reframing our perspective, we can find contentment even in challenging situations. But it's not just about finding silver linings in difficult situations. Stoicism also teaches us to manage our expectations. We often set ourselves up for disappointment by expecting perfection, whether it's in our relationships, careers, or personal lives. Stoicism encourages us to embrace the reality that life is unpredictable and uncertain, and that setbacks and disappointments are inevitable parts of the human experience. When we learn to accept the imperfect nature of life, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. So how do we put these principles into practice? How can we transform our mindset and cultivate a more resilient and peaceful life? The first step is to cultivate a daily practice of reflection. Take time each day to examine your thoughts and reactions to the events that unfold around you. Ask yourself, am I feeding my own suffering by the way I'm interpreting this situation? The second step is to practice cognitive diffusion, a technique that helps you step back from your thoughts and observe them without judgment. This can be as simple as saying to yourself, I'm just thinking. This thought is not a fact. It's not necessarily true. By creating this distance, you can gain clarity and perspective on your thoughts and reactions. Finally, commit to taking small but meaningful actions. Don't get stuck in a loop of endless analysis and overthinking. Take action, even if it's just a small step. As the Stoics believed, action is the antidote to suffering. Now, I know this may sound like a lot, like a major shift in the way you approach life. But remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Cultivating a Stoic mindset is a journey, not a destination. Start small. Focus on your daily practice of reflection, cognitive diffusion, and action, and over time you'll notice a shift in your perspective. You'll find yourself better equipped to face life's challenges with grace and resilience. You'll be able to see that it's not what happens, but how you react, how you choose to tell the story of your life that truly matters. In the words of the great Stoic philosopher Epicurus, it's not the things that happen to us that disturb us, but our judgments about those things. So, I encourage you to embrace the journey. Reflect daily, diffuse your thoughts, and take action. You'll be amazed at the strength, wisdom, and peace that you discover within yourself. If you enjoyed this exploration into Stoicism and its practical applications in our lives, I'd love to hear from you. What are your experiences with applying Stoic principles to everyday challenges? Has this philosophy helped you shift your perspective on any difficult situations? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. I can't wait to read them. And as always, if you found value in this discussion, please hit the like button. It helps spread our mission to make philosophy accessible to everyone. And if you're eager to continue this journey of self-discovery and resilience, subscribe to the channel. We've got a ton of insightful content coming your way. Thank you for joining me today. May your days be filled with Stoic wisdom, and may you find strength in the journey of self-discovery. Until next time, keep reflecting, keep diffusing, and keep acting. You know those days when life seems like a never-ending roller coaster? Ups, downs, twists, and turns that leave you feeling like you've just stepped off a wild ride. Well, guess what? You're not alone. Welcome to the club where every single one of us is navigating this crazy thing called life. Life is unpredictable. Things don't always go as planned. You lose people. Opportunities slip away. The world is chaotic, noisy, and sometimes overwhelming. But here's the truth. You don't control everything. And that's okay. What matters is learning to control what you can, because in that is your power. Picture this. You're at a crowded party with a million things vying for your attention. Some great, some not so much. There's the juicy gossip in one corner, the tempting dessert table in another. But in the midst of all this, you notice something peculiar. No matter how hard you try, you can't juggle them all. There are just too many distractions. In the grand scheme of things, we can't control the chaos around us, the random acts, the unexpected turns, but here's where it gets really interesting. We can control our reactions, our choices, and that makes all the difference. Now let's take a closer look at these two spheres of influence and how they play out in our daily lives. Let's face it, we humans have a knack for worrying about stuff that's beyond our grasp. The opinions of others, the economy, the weather, our past mistakes, or even what might happen tomorrow. This constant struggle between what is and what we wish were can leave us feeling anxious and drained. But here's a shift in perspective. Instead of getting caught up in the what-ifs and the should-haves, what if we focused on the question, what can I do right now with what I have? When we reframe our thinking in this way, we empower ourselves to take action. For instance, if you're feeling stuck in a career, instead of agonizing over the perfect opportunity, ask yourself, what skills can I learn right now? What steps can I take today to move closer to my goals? Or if you're facing a personal challenge, instead of dwelling on the unfairness of it all, ask, what resources do I have available? Who can I reach out to for help? How can I utilize my strengths to overcome this? This mindset shift is all about embracing what you have control over and making the most of it. It's about recognizing that while we can't influence everything, we do have the power to shape our own lives within the boundaries of our control. Now let's dive into the realm of what you can control. And trust me, there's a lot more than you might think. First on the list is your attitude. You heard that right. Your attitude is entirely within your control. It's your lens through which you view the world. When faced with challenges, you can choose how to respond. It won't always be easy, but it's always possible. A positive attitude isn't about ignoring negativity. It's about actively choosing optimism. It's deciding to find the silver lining in tough situations. Remember, your attitude is a muscle that strengthens with practice. Nurture it, exercise it, and watch as it becomes a powerful ally in your journey through life. Next, we have your effort. You may not be the smartest, the strongest, or the fastest, but you can control your effort. The beauty of effort is that it's within your grasp. You can choose to put your best foot forward, to push through challenges, and to persevere even when things get tough. Effort compounds. Small, consistent efforts day after day lead to significant progress over time. It's like building a snowball. Start with a small one and roll it down a hill. As it gathers more snow, it grows bigger and bigger. Your effort is like that snowball gaining momentum, shaping your future. And then there are your actions. Every day you make countless decisions, big and small. When you wake up, what time do you choose? What you eat, what you read, who you spend time with, what you focus on. These are all actions that compound over time. Imagine waking up just 5 minutes earlier each day. That's 30 extra minutes per week. In a year, you'd have an extra 26 hours. Think about the possibilities. Your actions define your habits, which in turn form your character. They're the building blocks of your future. Your actions speak louder than words. They're the tangible evidence of what you value and what you're working towards. So choose your actions wisely, knowing that they contribute to the masterpiece that is your life. Your words also fall under your control. Your words have power. They can heal or hurt, inspire or discourage. When you speak, you create ripples that extend far beyond the moment. Be mindful of your words. Choose to speak with intention, whether it's offering words of encouragement to a friend or expressing your needs assertively. Your words reflect your values and shape how others interact with you. They're a testament to your character and a key element in building meaningful relationships. Finally, we have your mindset. Your mindset is the lens through which you perceive the world. It's the narrative you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. You can choose to adopt a growth mindset, believing that you can develop your abilities and learn new things. Or you can embrace a warrior mindset, seeing challenges as opportunities to grow and thrive. Similarly, you can cultivate an abundance mindset, focusing on the limitless possibilities around you. Your mindset shapes your reality. It determines whether you see obstacles or opportunities, whether you focus on limitations or possibilities. It's the foundation upon which you build your experiences. While there's much in life that's beyond our control, there's a surprising amount that we can influence. By focusing on these controllable aspects, you can take charge of your life and navigate through the ups and downs with greater ease. It's important to recognize that controlling these elements doesn't mean they'll always have everything perfectly in order. Life is unpredictable and there will be times when challenges arise and disrupt your carefully laid plans. However, by nurturing your attitude, effort, actions, words, and mindset, you equip yourself with the resilience to bounce back quickly from any setback. Just like a gardener tends to their plants, providing them with water and sunlight to help them thrive, you can care for your own well-being by focusing on these controllable aspects. Embrace the power within your grasp and watch as you transform your life into a thriving garden of success and fulfillment. On the flip side, we have to acknowledge that there are certain things in life that are simply beyond our control. The past, for instance, is immutable. No matter how much we wish we could change it, it's set in stone. Other people's behavior is also outside of our influence. We can encourage, suggest, and advise, but ultimately, it's up to them to make their own choices. Traffic, the weather, global events, and unexpected problems are all part of the unpredictable tapestry of life. The trick here is to avoid wasting precious energy trying to control what is. Acceptance isn't about giving up or resigning yourself to a passive role. It's about acknowledging reality as it is and choosing to work within those boundaries. It's finding peace in the midst of chaos, clarity in the face of confusion. By accepting what you can't control, you free up your mental and emotional energy to focus on what you can change. It's like decluttering your mind, creating space for creativity, problem solving, and strategic thinking. So how can you practically apply these principles to your life? Here are a few tips to help you on your journey. Start your day with intention. Resist the urge to grab your phone first thing in the morning. Instead, take a few moments to plan your day or simply breathe and center yourself. This small act sets a positive tone for the hours ahead. Journal. Writing down what's bothering you can help you gain clarity. Then underline the parts you can actually do something about and focus on those actionable items. Use the circle of control technique. Draw 2 circles. In the inner circle, write down the things you can control. In the outer circle, write down the things you can't control. Keep the inner circle in focus and the outer circle in perspective. Limit negative inputs. Be mindful of the news, toxic people, and drama you expose yourself to. You have the power to curate your environment and what you consume. Practice gratitude. Focusing on what's good in your life strengthens your ability to handle what's not so good. Make a daily list of things you're grateful for. Remember, you can't control the storm, but you can control your sail. You can't choose the cards you're dealt, but you can play them with strength, courage, and wisdom. As you continue on your journey through life, keep these principles in mind. Let go of what you can't control and master what you can. Your life is built on your choices, and every day you get to choose who you become. So go forth with a sense of purpose and determination, knowing that you have the power to shape your own destiny.